Now Penn State can break it open right now. You can see Wisconsin starting to reel a little bit. Penn State's gaining their confidence. This could be the time.
The Nittany Lions are rolling here in the second half. They lead it by 15. You're watching Big Ten basketball. Well, the Nittany Lions led by 7 at the half, and you see the score now with 12:16 to play. And Calvin Booth has had a big spurt offensively for Penn State here in the second half.
Well, Frank, Calvin Booth obviously can block shots. He's one of the best in the country, but he also runs the floor very well. He's got a very good soft touch for a big man, as we've talked about early in the game. And Calvin Booth is an NBA prospect. In fact, I was talking with a scout a couple weeks ago, and the one thing that they consider in the NBA is you can't teach shot blocking. You know, that's a talent. Obviously, it comes with size and timing, and Calvin Booth's one of the best.
Booth with 6 second-half points here has helped the Nittany Lions open up this 15-point lead. Penn State shooting almost 80% from the floor in the second half. Here's an open look for Sean Doherty, and the Badgers needed that one.
That's what they have to do. They have to spread the floor and drive it if Penn State's going to come out and deny the passing lanes.
10 points for Doherty. Penn State by 13.
Right now, look for Penn State to go at Sean Doherty. Nice look.
Stevens rolls it in.
Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth can pass too.
Jarrett Stevens now has 8. Penn State by 15. The Nittany Lions did it from the perimeter in the first half, Bruce. They're starting to get production inside here in the second half. Doherty barely hitting the iron, and Coleman with a rebound. Coleman now with 4.
You can see Wisconsin's intensity slipping a little bit here in the half-court area defensively, Frank.
Graves going down low to Stevens again. Coleman that time blocked it. Here comes Oriental quickly. The Badgers cannot afford to be quite as patient now as they've been earlier in the game.
Well, they've got plenty of time, but they can't afford mistakes like that. And they really have to tighten up the defensive end a little bit. There's plenty of time for them to make a run.
Sean Mason picks up the foul. We're here at the Jordan Center with 10:51 to play now in the game. Penn State leading by 13. Frank Gardenia, Bruce Parker with you tonight. And just kind of a business-like lead for the Nittany Lions here at this point.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job now. They're executing better on offense, and as we said a little bit ago, Wisconsin's backed off a little bit defensively, so that's helped Penn State. But Penn State's doing a good job at the defensive end.
Pete Lisicki lost that one off his knee to Greg Stevenson. Stevenson jump shooting. Rebound off to Oriental. Oriental to Mason. Mason from outside. He's got the 3. Mason now with 18 points.
See if Penn State tries to go at Calvin Booth. They've got Doherty matched up on Booth. It'd be a good idea to try to pound it in there and see if they can get a foul.
Oriental almost had it picked away from Gray that time. He did knock it away, but Calvin Booth recovered it.
One from Pete Lisicki.
Lisicki short on the drive, and a foul underneath on the Nittany Lions. Either on Stevens or Lisicki. By Pete's reaction, it would appear to be on him, and it is.
Yeah, I think he got a little frustrated when he missed it. He makes a pretty nice move, comes in here. Tough shot, good defense. Doesn't quite get the bucket and hustling after the ball. That's a hustle foul, nothing wrong with that.
The Badgers down by 10 have the ball. We go under the 10-minute mark. Mason is open. Kowski tapped and missed. And Kowski runs it down in the corner. Up to Maurice Linton. Linton back into game number 30.
I'll tell you, if Wisconsin scores here, they're right back in it.
Oriental to Kowski, and Booth smothered that one.
See, Calvin was a factor on the first shot, which ended up being a pass.
And Graves had it blocked by Mason and picked up by Doherty. Long feed ahead to Mason, 2-on-2. Mason driving, Lisicki and Booth, and he scores.
Nice shot, huh? Nice shot.
Sean Mason scores.
Mason has 20 points now. The Badgers are within 8. he was very careful to avoid the block by Booth.
Yep. Calvin's a factor all the time. Every time he's in the game at the defensive end, he's a major factor. And you know he's playing on the minds of the offensive players because guys hate getting their shot blocked.
22nd timeout by the Nittany Lions. And Bruce, he seems to have the ability after a block to recover and be in defensive position again.
Well, he does. He's a good athlete. He always anticipates. Here he makes the pass occur and then blocks the dump off shot. Here Mason makes a real nice move on Pete Lisicki. And actually Pete kind of knocked into Calvin, or Calvin might have got a piece of that.
So the Nittany Lions lead it by 8. Penn State with the ball. Valentine's Day, Valentine's night here at the Jordan Center. Grays guarded by Oriental out front. Over to Ivory, who has returned for the Nittany Lions.
Penn State had a timeout. Let's see if they try to get it into Calvin Booth where he can take it to Doherty and draw a foul.
Ivory uses the screen by Booth and shoots. Almost missed everything. Stevens rebounds and can't follow. Offensive board by Jared Stevens. Couldn't get it to roll in. So the Badgers down by 8 have the ball. Booth will give Linton a lot of room over in the corner. Inside to Doherty.
Nice cut. Real nice back cut by Sean Doherty that time. A good look.
And Wisconsin has cut the lead now to 6. Crowd a bit edgy here at the Jordan Center. Lisicki with Duaney playing him defensively. Here goes Booth with a left hand. Wow.
Nice sweeping left hook. Nobody's going to block that one, Frank.
Boy, he had to negotiate a lot of traffic in there. Booth now with 8 second half points.
Big basket there. Good hoop.
Wisconsin down by 8. Here's Doherty trying to continue the Badger momentum. Oriental had it knocked away by Lisicki. They have 15 to shoot. He's calling for the screen. Gets it from Doherty. Feeds to Doherty, and Booth fouls him.
That was a good possession by Wisconsin that time. Good patience, good execution on the screen and roll. See here, Oriental sets up the screen and roll. Doherty rolls, takes it right in strong to Calvin instead of trying to shoot it over him. And Calvin's a little off balance and gets called for the foul.
Boy, when Oriental first made the pass, it didn't look like it was going to get there. He had some mustard on it.
Yeah, he did.
And Doherty short on the free throw.
How about last year, Sean Doherty was shooting 27% or 35% from the three-point line. This year he's shooting 27%. So it's not only the freshmen that are struggling offensively for the Badgers.
Crispin is back now for Penn State, replacing Lisicki. Doherty at the free throw line hits 1 of 2. And we have a timeout with 7:07 to play. Wisconsin trying to creep back into it. Penn State leading the Badgers 55-48. You're watching Big Ten basketball. Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center. We are getting down to crunch time here. The Nittany Lions of Penn State leading it by 7. And Bruce, Penn State's field goal percentage is up considerably here in the second half.
Yeah, it sure is. Both teams are shooting the ball a lot better in the second half, and it's making for an enjoyable game.
Penn State from 26 to 57%. And a lot of that has to do with where the shots are coming from. Calvin Booth and Jarrett Stevens have had a few more chances inside here in the second half.
That's right, yeah.
7-point Penn State lead. Nittany Lions with the ball. Joe Crispin over to Stevens.
Going. I thought they were going to go into Calvin, yeah.
Ivory looking inside, and it's knocked away and almost stolen by Maurice Linton.
Good job by Doherty that time to topside Calvin Booth so he couldn't get the basketball.
Inbound, knocked away again by Linton. Big defensive sequence here now for the Badgers.
That really is. They can stop here and then convert at the other end. They're really in the hunt. Penn State needs to get a good look, get a good shot, or get on the foul line here.
Crispin to Stevens, and he is fouled and he scores.
And they get both. They get a good shot and they get a foul shot.
It's a nice dish by Joe Crispin.
Yeah, real nice play. Kind of a screen and roll situation here. Jared Stevens slipped the screen. Joe does a nice job identifying Jared Stevens cutting down the lane, and Jared does a great job of finishing.
Foul on Mason. Stevens now in double figures with 10 points. And make it 11, and Penn State has a 10-point lead. Jazzy Klein-Hurd in for the first time in the second half. He'll give Stevens a bit of a break.
That could be pretty demoralizing for Wisconsin. They battled back to within 7, and now it's a double-figure lead again.
Stevens had 11 on Sunday at Northwestern. Double figures again here tonight. Mason now with Ivory playing in defensively. Now Jazzy Klein-Hurd switches and takes Mason.
Just get out of his way and let him drive Klein-Hurd.
This is Linton against the smaller Grays. Shoots over him and is too strong. Rebound is out to Kelly, and he is tied up by Crispin.
Terrific hustle by Kelly that time. He covered about 10 feet, got his hands on the ball when it looked like Penn State was going to get possession easily.
Pete Lasicki now returning for the Nittany Lions. Possession
here, watch Kelly
favoring.
coming all the way from the top of the key. Really good job there.
He almost came out with clean possession.
Yep.
I think Dick Bennett felt like they blew the whistle a little too soon. His guy was about to come away with it. Nittany Lions with the ball, leading by 10, 6:03 to play. Booth. And a foul inside on Klein-Hurd. Jazzy Klein-Hurd picks up his second. 5:59 now remaining in the game. Penn State leading by 10. 16 fouls on the Nittany Lions here in the second half.
Jerry Dunn took out Jared Stevens after that three-point play. Maybe Jared was huffing and puffing a little bit. I think I'd want to get him back in there pretty soon.
Mason against Ivory. Ivory doesn't give him much room. Doherty to Mason now. He has plenty of room. Crispin comes away with a rebound, trying to run it down. He does. Shoots quickly.
Bad shot. Bad shot. Freshman mistake.
Jerry Dunn holding his hands up in the air, saying, Joe, what are you doing? And Sean Mason chasing the ball. Did he get a timeout? He did. Mason caught the ball, went high in the air before he came down, and did give Owen Hanna, the official, the timeout signal.
Yep, heads up play. Ill-advised pass here. Mason does a great job to run it down, gather himself, get possession, and call timeout. All-wise flying out of bounds.
So the Nittany Lions leading it by 10 over the Badgers. 5:21 to play in the game. You're watching Big Ten basketball. Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center. The Nittany Lions lead the Wisconsin Badgers 58-48. Other games in the Big Ten, Michigan State, what a year they have had under Coach Tom Izzo. They lead the Golden Gophers by 10. Princeton in the top 25 with a win over Yale. A lot of people think this Princeton team, Bruce, is a team that could go to the NCAA tournament and advance.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. They're legit. They're very good.
They've always been kind of the underdog that you pull for in the early rounds, but they could go deep into the tournament this year.
They'll be favored, probably.
Badgers with the ball, down by 10. Mason is fouled by Ivory, and he throws a shot up just in case.
That's the second time that's happened to Titus. I think he got hung up on a screen a little bit and was rushing out to try to prevent Mason from knocking down a three. See here, he leaves his feet. Mason's heads up, pump fakes, draws the foul.
Titus not happy with himself. Here's Mason now to shoot. Done a lot of damage from there today. He's 8 of 8 on free throws, and it's a 58-49 game. Now the Badgers are out of timeouts. Penn State still has 2 full timeouts and 1:20. Mason hits the second one. It's 58-50. Crispin, I don't think he'll take a quick shot this time.
Well, I was just thinking if this turns out to be a close game, we'll look look back at that shot, and it's an example of Penn State really shooting themselves in the foot with that ill-advised shot.
Oriental with the steal, then the dish to Kowski for the slam, and it's 58-52. The Badgers will not go away. They're within 6, and Crispin is fouled by Mason. 4:45 to play, and the Badgers are back within 6.
Boy, here Oriental did a nice job of dishing the ball off. Good court awareness that time. Had Kowski coming from behind. Made the blind pass to him, and Kowski finished in great fashion.
Here's
good looking freshman. Got some hops.
Kowski 6'5". Here's Crispin to the line where he is almost automatic. 85% on the year. He has 14 points now on the night.
Yeah, it sure is nice to have both your guards shooting the ball that well from the foul line.
You see
no
Wisconsin
timeouts.
out of timeouts. Crispin hits them both. 60-52. The Badgers down by 8. Mason with Ivory playing him defensively.
Got a mismatch.
Stevens picks up Doherty. Now he's double teamed. He finds Oriental. Oriental spinning and knocked away from behind, stolen by Booth. So Penn State with an 8-point lead and the ball with 4:14 to play. And a foul on Linton. Lisicki trying to get away, going behind a screen. There was a lot of bumping.
You don't want to foul that guy if you're Wisconsin.
I tell you, your options are pretty limited when you're fouling the Nittany Lions.
Yeah.
Lisicki is the best in the country, and Crispin is not bad himself.
Right up there.
Jared Stevens and Calvin Booth can hurt you at the line. And Lisicki is good on the first one. Pete now with 10 at 61-52. Ivory will sit down. Stevenson in to replace him.
I tell you, Frank, it's such a luxury to have a great shot blocker, because no matter what Wisconsin does now offensively, unless they shoot 3-point shots, Calvin Booth is going to be a factor, and you know that they're aware of that, and it wears on you psychologically when you know every time you drive the lane you might get your shot blocked.
And Oriental taking a chance driving, and we have a foul inside. Pete Lisicki, by the way, 4 of 4 on free throws tonight. And Pete has now broken his own Penn State record for consecutive free throws. He has 35 straight.
So here Oriental does a great job of penetrating the defense off the dribble, which I think he and Mason maybe should do a little bit more of, because that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They're going to get some shots blocked, but they also put an awful lot of pressure on the D. They got to make their foul shots when they do get fouled.
Wisconsin as a team shooting just under 70% at the line. Oriental missing the first one there. He'll have a second. He's about a 77% free throw shooter. He has 3 points, and it's a 9-point Penn State lead now, 62-53. And again, Lisicki with 35 consecutive free throws. His own record was 33. Run the clock down now to 16. Greg Stevenson out to Lisicki. They'll shoot over Oriental. Kowski with a nice rebound.
That was a terrific rebound.
Kowski, a big 6'8" freshman from Brookville, Wisconsin. That time made a very tough catch. Here's Doherty out of the corner. Big basket for Doherty. He has 15. Wisconsin within 7. Mason really trying to pressure Crispin. You see the clock, we go under the 3-minute mark.
Penn State's got to be careful here not to lose timing. You know, they can run their continuity offense, take a layup if they get it. But if they get an open shot, they need to go ahead and knock it down. There's too much time yet to run the clock all the way down, I think.
The foul on Oriental will send Lisicki again to the line.
Yeah, it looks right. You can see right there at the bottom of the key, Oriental just ran right into Greg Stevenson.
And Lisicky has now hit 36 straight free throws. Penn State by 8. Pete, prior to this game, had 41 points in his last 2 games. And he's got another one.
When he hits the rim, it's close to a miss for him. He's mad if he hits the rim.
So the Nittany Lions hanging on, lead it again by 9 with 2:56 to play. And a 20-second timeout is taken. Looking ahead at Penn State's schedule, they have a chance to have a good finish here. They got the Buckeyes here Monday night, Bruce.
Absolutely, Frank. They have to win tonight. They have to win Monday. They can, you know, then they've got Ohio State, the last game on the road. They've got to win that one. And then you have Michigan and Purdue and Minnesota. And if they get just 1 out of those 3, it's a good finish.
And the Badgers also are at home for most of the remainder of their schedule as well. Penn State will be here Monday. They'll be at Minnesota Wednesday. 2 great home games coming up later this month in Purdue and Michigan.
Absolutely.
Next Saturday afternoon, the Boilermakers are here, and that should be quite a show. They had a huge win today at home against Illinois. Wisconsin down by 9. Trying to come up with something big and something quick. 2:44 to play. This is Mason with 18 to shoot. Almost lost it, saves it to Kowski. Back to Mason, now he lets it go. And Linton comes away with it to Oriental. Back to Mason again. Off the dribble this time, he's got it.
Nice move.
64-57, Penn State by 7. Crispin across the timeline, they're trying to protect the ball. 2:12 remaining. Here's Lisicky. He feeds Stevenson, is wide open.
Nice back cut by Greg Stevenson that time. He read the screen. The defense was cheating over the screen. He back cut. Pete Lisicky did a great job of getting the basketball.
Yeah, that could be a backbreaker.
Absolutely.
Stevenson with a huge dunk. Penn State by 9, 66-57. Mason's had a tremendous game, and he is fouled. And I think that's a 3-pointer or a 3-shot attempt.
Mason's pretty good at that, isn't he? It's the 3rd time tonight.
Well, the crowd doesn't like it, Bruce, but it's the right call.
Well, you know, I think what some people see is the fact that Mason may have created the contact. And that gets into a gray area there. If the defense has position and he creates the contact, it's a foul on him. But if the defense is moving into him and he goes up toward the basket, the officials have to call a foul on the defense.
Mason hits the free throw. He is perfect at the free throw line tonight. Shooting 3, 66-58 our score. Mason is now 11 of 11 on free throws. He has 26 points, and it's 66-59, and a chance to cut the lead to 6.
One shot, fellas, one.
Mason coming into the game averaging 14 a game. He's almost doubled that.
Big foul shot there. 2-possession game now.
66-60, Nittany Lions.
Now, if you're Penn State, you want to use some clock and get a good shot. If you're Wisconsin, you don't want to foul Crispin or Lisicky. In fact, you don't want to foul at all. They're trying to keep the 5-second count.
Crispin to Stevens, and he is fouled. Garrett Stevens wanted that one.
Well, that was a nice job by Joe Crispin to penetrate the defense. You'll see they're out here chasing him, and he has to beat the defense, draw the defender underneath, and deliver the ball to Jared Stevens. That was a really nice job because Wisconsin's out there trying to get the 5-second count, so Joe had no choice but to try to penetrate.
Stevens 5 of 7 on free throws. He has 11 points. And again, Penn State with all good free throw shooters on the floor right now. Greg Stevenson has been out there. Stevens, however, missing. Greg Stevenson has been out there for Titus Ivory, probably because he's a better free throw shooter, and now Ivory comes back in for defense.
Well, Jarrett needs to make this one to make it a 3-possession ball game.
And he gets it. 8 of his 12 points have come here in the second half. 67-60, Nittany Lions by 7. Oriental letting the ball roll. Now he'll drive. And dish inside for Maurice Linton over Calvin Booth. He scores. It's a 5-point game now with 1:12 to play. Lisicky trying to maintain possession of the ball, and he is fouled by Mason.
Almost a tie up there. Pete Lisicky did a good job of maintaining his balance and staying strong.
But you want your best free throw shooters to have the ball.
That's right.
And Lisicky was trying not to give it up. He did not want it out of his hands.
No, and here, see, you'll see the double team come. And Pete does a good job of maintaining balance, staying strong with the ball until he draws a foul.
And Lisicky almost
Money in the bank.
automatic. That's exactly right. 68-62, Penn State by 6. The streak for Lisicky continues. He's just adding to his own record now.
It's another big one here, make it a 3-possession game.
He stopped the time momentarily to rub some of the moisture off the floor. Boy, through the shooter, you just like to get it back and keep going.
I don't think it'll bother Pete Lisicky too much.
Second one is up and good. Almost popped out, but stayed down, and it's back to a 7-point lead. Approaching the 1-minute mark. Big stop here for the Nittany Lions if they can get it. Doherty off the dribble, nice bank.
Tough shot.
That wasn't easy. 5-point game again. This is Booth, double teamed, and that's a guy that Wisconsin will take a chance on fouling.
Good job of covering up the shooters, making Penn State pass it to Calvin. They used Calvin to flash up as an outlet. And you're right, Wisconsin has no choice now. They've got to foul and stop the clock, and then try to stop the clock on their offensive end by scoring.
Calvin is 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 blocks here tonight. And at the free throw line, he is 3 of 6. That makes the fans here a little squeamish.
Makes the coaches squeamish too.
A little more than squeamish.
Yeah, buddy.
And he hits the second one, 70-64. It's a 2-possession game. Yep. Here come the Badgers quickly. Oriental had it knocked away by Crispin. Double dribble. Crispin got his hands in there and disrupted the dribble.
That's a killer turnover for Wisconsin.
Oriental played very well against the Nittany Lions earlier this year, and now he's called for a holding foul against Lisicky.
Here Oriental crosses over and then kind of loses the handle. I don't know about that one. Maybe they called him for a carry.
So Lisicky now to the free throw line the other way, a chance to really put some space here between Penn State and Wisconsin. First one is up, and that stops the streak. He was 8 for 8 tonight before that miss. Stops the streak at 39, he missed them both. Kowski with a rebound. Mason with the ball for Wisconsin, quick three.